This is my command, that you love one another just as I have loved you. It's a command followed by an example. He doesn't just tell us, he shows us how it has been done. Greater love hath no man than this, and he laid down his life for his friends. This is what he is going to do. He's going to lay his life down for them and for us. This is that great love, and he will demonstrate it upon the cross. Thus, no longer are they slaves, but rather friends. No longer is there a relationship based on some type of twisted obligation, but now there's a relationship that is based on pure love as his friends. We are his friends. He chose us and appointed us to bear his fruit. Toward this end, he will meet and supply all of our needs. Jesus opens his heart to his disciples, I think, as they stood along the Kidron Creek at the bottom of the Kidron Valley. What he in essence told them was, I love you. Like the Father loves me, I love you. The wonder of his heart, the way of his heart, a word from his heart, the will of his heart. The heart of the matter is love always wins. Most unusual thing happened in October of 2000 at Jerry Falwell's Thomas Road Baptist Church in Lynchburg, Virginia. Protesters showed up. Now, that's not an unusual thing at Thomas Road Baptist Church for there to be protesters, but on this particular day, it was an unusual group of protesters. First of all, there was a man by the name of Bob Kunst. He was the leader of a group of gay protesters, and they were there to get their point of view across for the media in front of Thomas Road Baptist Church because of Jerry Falwell's stand on the issue of homosexuality. There was another group that was there. The other group that was there was Reverend Fred Phelps of Topeka, Kansas, and members of his church. They were there as counter-protesters to Bob Kunst's group. And they were also there because they felt that Jerry Falwell and Thomas Road Baptist Church weren't harsh enough and didn't condemn homosexuality in harsh enough language. So you had these two groups, and they were in front of the church, and everyone who came to church that day had to run the gauntlet of these two groups. They were divided by lines that the police had put down to keep them apart. The administrator of Falwell's church, J.A. Smith, went outside that morning to just make sure everything's okay and to make sure he knew the leaders of the two groups in case there were problems. He went up first to Bob Kunst, the head of the gay protesters. He held out his hand, introduced himself. They shook hands. They talked about the agreed upon procedures that were going to be that day, and Bob assured him there were going to be no problems. While they were talking, from across the way from the other group of protesters, someone hollers out, "Why don't you just go ahead and kiss the fag?" That was from the Christian group. And that's kind of where it started. J. Smith then went across the way to Reverend Fred Phelps and his group from Topeka, Kansas. He held out his hand to Reverend Phelps, who refused to shake his hand. And the insults and the harsh words were continued to be thrown. Amazingly enough, the gay protesters never returned a harsh word. Reverend Phelps' group never stopped shouting harsh, hurtful words. J. Smith left to go back in for church, scratching his head, wondering what in the world had he just witnessed. And then thinking and realizing, how in the world do you ever share the love of Christ being so cruel and so hateful? And then he remembered the words of Jesus. This is my commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, than he lay down his life for his friends.